Hey, what's up everyone? Adam here with brahwegotthis, and today I'm going to help you understand everything you need to know about Update 35 and the Lost Depths DLC coming very soon for ESO. Now obviously there has been an insane amount of talk around the update because of the uproar of changes that have been proposed, so in this video I'm not going to hold anything back of my analysis of what you should expect, but I do want this to be an informative video as well so you know what this update and DLC pack entails. Thank you again for the members and the patrons. I do appreciate all of you. Check out all of our memberships down below and you get early access to videos and access to our Discord and much more. Thank you again. So starting out, this update and DLC pack will go live on August 22nd for PC, Mac, and Stadia, while for console it will be September 6th. Now a major difference that you want to understand is Update 35 is a base game update. So that will be an update that everyone experiences and doesn't have to purchase. With every DLC and expansion, there's always a base game update that goes along with it, so that is what Update 35 is to the Lost Depths DLC. The Lost Depths DLC though is something that you will have to purchase for 1,500 crowns, or you will get automatically if you are an ESO Plus member. So first off, let's talk about these DLCs and what they entail, since these are the high points of the update. The Lost Depths DLC is a dungeon DLC pack like many before it. If you aren't familiar with ESO's DLC pack structure, essentially ESO will release 2 DLC dungeon packs a year, an expansion and a mini expansion. This is the second DLC dungeon pack this year. The 2 dungeons in this pack are called the EARTHEN Enclave and GRAVEN Deep. These do progress the story forward for the year, but these look very good, and the dungeon design team always does a great job in creating immersive and challenging dungeon experiences. Within these dungeons, you'll be able to earn achievements, titles, and other cosmetics for completing its challenges. There will be 3 new item sets in each dungeon, a light, a medium, and a heavy set. There will also be 2 new monster sets to earn by completing the dungeons on Veteran. Those item sets can be looked at in the item set collection system when it goes live, or from the patch notes in the forum post. You can expect to have a great time in these dungeons, and you can really enjoy the aesthetic of them. They're always very well designed and very fun. Now let's move on to the meat of the update, and that is Update 35. With this update, the biggest changes that you need to understand is they have nerfed the Oaken Soul Ring, and they have changed combat into a state that no one really wanted. These are going to have pretty bad effects for the game and will result in a drop-off of players because it is already happening. I don't tell you this to discourage you, especially if you just started playing the game. I want you to understand that ESO is a great game at its core, and it's a great game that has so many things to do for new players. But it is a game that has lost touch a little bit with its veteran players and a little bit of its vision, in my opinion. I want to tell you this so you have an accurate representation of what to expect. ZOS wanted to make the game more accessible, and in doing so, they thought that these changes I'm about to outline are accomplishing that goal, which I don't think anyone actually thinks they are accomplishing that goal. Unfortunately, they can't fix this really until next patch cycle, most likely, but at that point, a lot of players will have already left the game and be burned out and probably won't return for a long time. So here are some of the most general changes that are happening. The first one is a loss of DPS across the board. That means everyone is going to be losing DPS. There has been a DPS nerf. I don't know the exact number now, but it's probably somewhere between 15 to 20% DPS loss across the board. Doesn't seem very accessible, does it? The second change are massive changes to dots. They have changed how dots operate. So certain sticky dots, have different timers, or they have the same timers, versus dots that are on the ground. Those have been reduced back to their normal timers. So there's a lot of changes there with that kind of made combat a little bit more interesting in some ways, but it also kind of made it a little bit more boring, and again it is resulted in a DPS loss from what I've understood, so they've done that. There's also been a lot of class changes, and if you want more in-depth information on the class changes and some of these very minute details, definitely check out Nephis or Skinny Cheeks, because they go into detail exactly what is happening with those classes and with the dots. But I'm just trying to give you an overview of what you can expect. Your class is probably changing in this patch, which sucks because a lot of people get really tired of the changes. And the last big thing, besides Oaken Soul being nerfed, is all veteran bosses' health has been reduced. So they've been trying to nerf the content, which isn't a bad thing because that is essentially what they wanted to do, right? But the problem is, if we're all losing DPS, if everything's being changed in your class again, you're just really reducing the ceiling of skill. You're not bringing up the floor. And their goal was to essentially bring up the floor and make the game more accessible. But in a way, like I said, it doesn't seem like they're really accomplishing that. And I think a lot of people are not happy about it anymore. So what can you expect, from this update then? Like what are you to expect if you're a new player? Like should you play the game? And I'm not here to tell you if you should essentially continue playing ESO. Like I said, ESO is a great game at its core. If you're a new player and you're enjoying the game, keep enjoying the game. But I just want you to know that your class is probably changing. You are going to lose DPS, and the game is definitely going in a direction that I don't agree with in some ways. And so I just want you to understand where all of that sits as you actually play this game. But there are going to be some negative effects and some actual effects that you will see besides that. You're going to start seeing a lot more people playing different roles. You're going to see people really start to do tanking and healing, I think, because DPS might not be as satisfying in some ways. You're also going to see players leave the game due to the change fatigue. A lot of people, even though they have changed some things back and reverted some of the patch, people are still very, very upset about all the changes that happen every 3 months, because a lot of content creators are very burned by this. We just are not motivated to make builds in a lot of ways because everything changes in 3 months, and it's very exhausting to change everything every 3 months. So that is something that is a negative effect. Also, the in-game community is sort of getting gutted. There's been a lot of people in the in-game community that have left, and they're going to other games because they're tired of that, and I understand it. And so that's some changes you will see. The other massive thing is you're going to see a big shift in the market, like the guild traders. There's not going to be as many people golding out their gear, so that means you're going to see crafting mats maybe drop in price. You're not going to see as many people buying them, and you already saw that. Like 3 weeks ago, Nephis did an analysis of that, and you saw that essentially people were already starting to not buy crafting mats because they don't want to change their build. Like they don't want to gold things out because it's just going to get changed in 3 months. It's a lot of money in the game to invest into that. So there's going to be a lot of actual physical changes you see. And so I want to explain to you guys that in this next 3 months for ESO, this is really a great time if you want to try out other games or you want to take a break from ESO. Like if you've been playing it for a while and you're just kind of burned out, definitely take a break and try other things out. You've got some games coming out this fall, and I'm not trying to like not promote ESO, but I'm just trying to be completely transparent and honest with you guys that this is a good time to take a break from the game if you really do want to try other things out. Now, there's going to be like the Witches Festival and stuff like that coming up, which is fun, but this 3-month patch cycle, it's going to be a little rough for ESO, I think. And there's going to be some games that come out that I think that if you, again, want to try them out, definitely give them a shot and take a break. I'm hoping that the final mini expansion this year is something that makes a huge splash for the game. I'm hoping they revert a lot of these changes and it brings more people back, but I'm just trying to explain that if you really want an accurate view of what to expect in this patch and in this update, the high points again are the dungeons. The dungeons will be great. If you're just starting the game, there's tons of things you can do, so don't worry about that. But if you really want to know, like update 35 is shifting the game a lot. And like I said, you're going to lose DPS, you're going to have some class changes, veteran bosses are going to be reduced health-wise, and you're going to see kind of a lot of people leaving. And so I don't want you to be blindsided by that, and I don't want you to not understand that. So I do hope that this is informative for you. But again, thank you to all my members. If you do like this video, make sure to leave a like. I'm going to have more ESO content this next couple months. I'm also going to be doing other content in other games because I'm a little burned out, but I still will be creating ESO content, so do not worry about that. But just make sure to ring that bell, like, subscribe, and just remember to have faith be great, and I'll see you on ESO.